Hey everyone, welcome back to Inspiro. Today I want to share how I research sustainable fashion, different brands, sustainability, ethics, their greenwashing, their commitments, and how I keep all of my tea organized because it is a lot of research. There are so many brands, everything's always changing, and I hope that sharing this can help empower you to research and assess brand sustainability for yourself, and not only to educate you, but your circle, those around you, your level of influence, because that's how we're going to shift this industry and change the system. It's through education, through better sustainability literacy, and actually understanding what sustainability can look like, not just in fashion, but in any industry. The more we understand what true sustainability looks like in this industry, the more power we'll have to call in brands, governments, anybody along the way that has a responsibility to care about, climate justice, racial justice, all of these things. It all starts with education. So I hope that this video can help. I'd also like to thank Identity for sponsoring today's video. Identity is an app that's helped me stay digitally organized and decluttered, and what I love about it is that it actually helps me be more mindful, intentional, and focused. I work for a tech startup, and then I also do YouTube, and then I'm also on my laptop to watch K-dramas. I realized my mind would always wander, and I'd almost use it as an excuse to distract myself. So Identity has really helped me create boundaries around my work, my YouTube, and then my enjoying time. And I'm definitely the type to have 50 tabs open where you can't even see the X, especially when I'm doing research on a brand, because I don't like to close them, so I'll leave them there and then it gives me anxiety. So I've really appreciated using Identity for keeping everything organized and there, so I can just close everything at the end of the day. The search functions helped me be super productive and focused because I'm not clicking on what K-dramas are new today, or my new thing is dog adoption sites. I'll literally just randomly check them throughout the day. My goal right now is to do this thing. I'm just gonna search and open that link. You can also keep notes in Identity, and you can link to certain tiles. So it's almost my way of sourcing and citing my work. You guys know that I would having sources linked in my videos, especially for the research intensive ones, and it keeps everything there, so I don't have my notes app open and a Google Drive doc open. It used to be all over the place, so I feel just a lot more grounded with this, and it's free to try, so I'll leave a link for you to sign up. I would really appreciate it if you downloaded and gave it a shot. And Identity is a Black founded and Black owned tech business, so I've talked about how important it is to support BIPOC owned brands, but especially in the tech space, I will always support and root for BIPOC founders and leaders in tech because we need more diversity. But with that, let's dive into how I research sustainable fashion. It's easier than you think, so let's get it. So you're here, you want to support some sustainable and ethical brands, but the first step is to learn about the fashion industry, the fashion system, because without that, you can't really, get that far just looking at a specific brand because it's so easy to be greenwashed. That's why I tried to map out the fashion supply chain. I made a video about it. I have an Instagram post, I'll leave that there, just so that we know all of the different steps that go into just making a piece of clothing. If you're gonna do one thing from this video, besides downloading Identity, is to diversify your feed. In this journey, personally, I want to learn, but in the easiest and least overwhelming way possible. So I love Instagram. It's where I learn the most, just in bite-sized pieces where I then can go and do my own research. From diversifying my feed to just being part of these conversations, tuning into them has really helped me. And you will be surprised with how many different perspectives and opinions and, all the info that these amazing creators drop on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't, it's at Inspiro. But I will leave some accounts below to follow, from organizations to voices and advocates and leaders for change. I have these organizations that I follow. That's where I get all the tea on what's happening in the industry, with the garment workers, with people in Ghana. And I also have the advocates, the people, the creators that also share what they know, and I learned so much from them, so I'll leave them below as well. Following all these accounts will help diversify the perspectives that you're exposed to, and I think that's super important because when you're learning, you want to learn from multiple people, multiple perspectives, different experiences, different levels and areas of education. No one knows everything about anything, you know what I mean? But in terms of this like foundation, this base of knowledge, there are some incredible free resources too, and I love that they are mostly videos. And I want to emphasize that learning is enjoyable. Like I care about this, I'm passionate about this, so it's way different than, you know, readings in university or high school or whatever. But the first place I'd recommend is the Slow Factory's Open Education. So they have all of these webinars or courses that they've recorded, and you can access all of them for free on their page. And I love that they also link to additional readings and resources if you want to dive further, but you can do it on your own time. I found it so helpful, especially their fashion waste one, and they have incredible speakers there. The Slow Factory's founder, Celine, also started AOTA TV with Sophia. Love the video so far. It's almost like they're news anchors, but for sustainability, which I think we need, so check that out as well. That's the little piece of homework for you to do, is to watch those videos and really broaden your understanding of the fashion system. I also have my videos on my channel if you'd like to watch them, but I can't compare to the Slow Factory's videos. Like, there's so much education there. So next we get into the brand specific stuff, and especially if you're new here, it's really overwhelming to like look at someone's page and go through everything yourself. I know from experience because I do it for videos, and it is so draining. There are good brand directories and like rating apps online, but I wouldn't rely on them as your sole source of information. So there are apps like Good On You, which I'm sure a lot of you know, that give really basic ratings for brands, and I use that just to get a really high level view of the brand. I don't rely on it solely as a source. I do further digging, but if you just want a quick like snapshot of where the brand's at, that's a good starting place. And then the next one is Remake Our World's brand directory. So they also rate brands. There are brand directories out there, and they have looked into some of the information. So if you don't want to like go deep in the trenches, I do like relying on what they've found so far, but take it all with a grain of salt and just be critical. In terms of certifications, like the B Corp certification, they have a brand directory too, where they go in more detail about their ratings for brands. So whenever a brand has a B Corp certification, a lot of us just assume, okay, that's awesome, you know? But there are actually different levels and scores that you can get for your B Corp rating. So you can look on that directory and it'll give you a little bit more information about how they scored. And there are usually similar directories for different certifications. And then of course is the brand's actual sustainability page, which is a little bit overwhelming because you don't know what's greenwashing and what's not. But I wouldn't be, I guess, like scared to look at it, because you can Google a lot of stuff. Google is your friend. Again, just, you know, be critical about the sources that you are reading from. And if you want to go even deeper, the Sustainable Fashion Toolkit is an amazing resource where there are articles and like scientific studies, and that's like the meat of it. Sometimes I'll find a really good one that I'll want to read and, you know, the whole thing. Sometimes I will just Control F and read the certain parts that interest me. While I'm talking, it sounds like there's so much work to do, right? But you'll find that once you start knowing, like, there's only this many certifications that are like legit and etc., you won't actually need to be learning about so many different things once you start. I think when I first started learning about this stuff, I was feeling so overwhelmed. I was like, oh my God, what is this? What is this? What is this? But if I see this certification, I know what that is. I know what the B Corp certification is. I know what Ecotech certified or what Blue Sign certified means. Like, you'll start to know what the terms are and you won't feel as overwhelmed. So take it easy though, you know, you don't have to learn everything at once. And there are common keywords that I always find I'm Googling for any brand that I come across. So one is like brand name, controversy, brand name, garment workers. There are those like search strings that you find, you look for over and over. So I will leave those in the description box because it helps too. You can also just go to the news tab on Google and then you can find recent articles. This one is more relevant for the larger names because media has started to cover when they're doing something shitty. But also don't trust the media, you know what I mean? They don't cover everything that's important. So yeah, those are the steps that I go through, and those are a lot of the platforms that I rely on. So I hope that this can help. A lot of it, when you're looking at a brand, Like, you need to build your own understanding first, and then from there it's really easy to like actually break down and suss out whether a brand is bullshitting or not. I'll also leave my list below, almost like a checklist of the things that I look into. The garment workers, do they actually care about them and not only pay them but like treat them well, like make sure they are doing well. The factories, their certifications, the traceability of their suppliers and raw materials, their production, so their emissions, the water waste, the chemicals, the dyes, whether they have an impact report, their packaging, which is a pretty basic one, inclusivity in terms of size and race. So a big thing a year ago for BLM was when everyone posted a black square and then people came out and were like, actually, like, you're racist. So it's important to continue to look out for that. If you go to a brand's feed and it's all white people, like white thin people, I think that's an issue. And I don't think you can start a brand, no matter how small, today and excuse that. And then lastly is production scale, the size of the production, how many stores, how many locations, how many products they have on their website. Those are really easy telltale signs. But yeah, that's my process. Honestly, it doesn't sound like as much work as it sounds like. Does that make sense? That's honestly my process. It gets easier with time. It's almost like an exponential learning curve. In the beginning, it feels like, you know, it's so overwhelming with so many different things that you don't know, that you feel like you need to know about. But once you kind of have this like foundation of knowledge, everything else, it's an exponential curve, you know? You'll be able to like call out brands so quickly. You'll even get better than me at it. That's the goal. I again will leave all of the links and resources in the description box. It honestly feels like a lot, so I might do a blog post just so it's like more organized and easy for all of you. But I hope that this can help inspire and empower you, because that's my goal here. It's not to constantly make these videos to try to assess every brand in the world. Like, I ain't got time for that, you know? But the more that I can help inspire and empower each of you to also want to be change makers and advocates and activists, that's what keeps me going, you know? Like, that's why I'm doing this. If you've made it this far into the video, you are my loyal community and I appreciate you so much. And I want to ask you a quick question. How would you feel if I started a Patreon? Not to gate my content, but to offer more value. For example, I would share like all of the research that I have so far on these brands so that it can also save you time. But I don't want to, I don't know, I'm in this weird space right now where it takes so much work and I'm trying to also make my effort worth it. And I appreciate all of you so much to support me when I have sponsored videos, but I hope that eventually this can be something that I could sustain myself with. So let me know how you feel about that and what could add value to you, whether it's like a newsletter every month. We want to make sure that it would be valuable for you because you would be, you know, supporting me. And I'm weird about that stuff, you know, it's my Asian culture. I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, that's it. Please leave a like if you enjoy the type of content, if you want me to keep making my educational videos. It helps a lot. Comment down below and subscribe if you're new here. Hit that notification bell. It would really help my channel a lot. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.